Conservatives are fuming over the Republican National Committee's new party platform, which abandons a push for a federal ban on abortion. The new platform, which will be voted on at the upcoming Republican National Convention next week, takes a more moderate position on the issue of same-sex marriage, which of course has conservatives fuming. Now, look, this is obviously just a ploy by the party to try to appeal to more people in order to get elected. Imagine that, right? Trying to appeal to more people. Even though they have no intention of not going after same-sex marriage or the issue of bodily autonomy. They're just hiding the ball, right? But apparently evangelical voters didn't get the memo. People like ex-Trump lawyer Janet Ellis, who, by the way, is now a Trump critic, to be fair. Here's what she wrote. The RNC is trading Lila Rose for Amber Rose. Pro-life for pro-abortion. Live action for slut walk. That's a reflection of Trump world over God's truth. Yes. For those of you who might not remember the slut walk, this is Amber Rose, who would organize her protests in 2015 with that name in order to raise public awareness of gender inequality. Now, Rose is reportedly scheduled to speak at the RNC convention and has endorsed Donald Trump. I have no idea why. She's a person who spoke out against women being demeaned for their sexual behavior, and yet she is supporting Donald Trump. I mean, please make sense of it. It could be that this is a manifestation of class consciousness overriding all of her other concerns. She is rich. She wants to stay rich. So, I mean, that's my, I don't know, that's my opinion on it. That said, Ellis and the others, they're mad that she's even invited. She said Christians and conservatives should not support this. She's not the only one. Chad Connolly, the former chair of South Carolina GOP, said this, quote, "It is fair to say that over 1,000 pastors have emailed, texted, and called me about their disappointment over where they saw the platform going." He also claimed to NBC that he had been kept out of the platform committee after being labeled too pro-life. Fun. The words I'm hearing are shocked, betrayed, trampled, depressed, deflated. Most pastors I know don't want Biden and still will probably vote for Trump, but this hurts the energy needed for those folks to do the things it takes to help elect the president. Even former Vice President Mike Pence, he weighed in. He called it a, quote, profound disappointment to the millions of pro-life Republicans that have always looked to the Republican Party to stand for life. Senator Kevin Cramer told Axios, quote, has a lot of potential to hurt us. And Senator Bill Cassidy said, I like the way it was previously. And then, of course, Senator James Lankford had said, quote, we've had it for 40 years. I didn't see a problem with it. Senator Mike Lee also told Axios, I was surprised. It's been because it's been such an important part of our party's platform and what we stand for a long time. Now, look, there's an important reason to note why this has changed, okay? Now, number one, actually, there's several reasons. Number one being, turns out reproductive rights are pretty popular. I know, right? Democrats everywhere are running on them. Why? It's because of the end of Roe. Look, red states, okay, have seen ballot initiatives either enshrine reproductive rights or outright reject their abortion bans where they're, where you're actually able to get things on the ballot. Now, of course, Republicans, a lot of red states have responded by making sure that you can't get things on the ballot anymore. So it's so much for, democracy. But look, even 2/3 of Republican voters say that they're against a national abortion ban. So in reality, there's a tiny minority of the country that wants these extreme policies. Now, that tiny minority has a lot of money behind them. They have outsized political influence. And of course, the reason that they had so much success with this electorally before the end of Roe that they don't have anymore is because they were reliable voters. Because they were thinking that every time, oh, we've got this carrot in front of us, the end of Roe, the end of abortion, yay. And once we get that, we're going to win. And then it turns out, once they got it, they didn't win. Okay. I don't think most Republican politicians ever believed that they would actually get rid of Roe. And they had used it as a way to run elections. This was an issue, a wedge issue, that they were very comfortable running on for a very long time. But thanks to Trump and the Supreme Court, they actually did get it. And as a result, states were now free to pass pretty draconian anti-choice measures, which turned out to be incredibly unpopular and in many ways electoral disasters. So Republicans have been getting their asses kicked on this issue for some time now, and turns out the National Party is tired of losing. Remember, the whole purpose of running on this issue was to distract voters from economic issues, right? The single issue voters. Aren't you there to protect life? Aren't you going to protect little innocent babies? The Democrats are butchering, they're murdering, they're killing the babies. And so they distract them with that, which is very loaded, very emotional language, because everyone wants to protect children. And they use that to distract from the fact that, oh, they're making it so that your paychecks are smaller. You know, more taxes are coming out of you while less taxes are coming out of for the rich. You know, their donors are paying far less. The regulations are gone, which means they're poisoning the river, your backyard, the air that your children will breathe. They want you to ignore all of that. And there is a cadre of voters that were duped. They bought into that, you know, so-called pro-life language, the anti-abortion movement. They were, again, single-issue voters. And now that's just not there anymore. Okay? The right, I think they a lot of them believe that they were never supposed to win on this issue. And I'm talking about the politicians, right? Because they would run on this issue, they would win, and then what they would do, they wouldn't actually go after abortion rights. Or they would do so marginally, but because of Roe, they weren't able to actually completely get rid of them. And they would really focus most of their energy on cutting taxes for themselves and their donors. But as I said before, as of late, the base did elect some true believers who actually did do something. You had the confirmation of 3 Supreme Court justices who basically lied on the bench about how they would vote if somebody actually had challenged Roe. And so, and of course, we see the result of that. Then you had activist groups and big money donors, of course, that backed challenges that made it to the Supreme Court. The justices did exactly what those activists had wanted, gave them that win, and now Republicans are pretty panicked about not winning in a lot of these elections. And so they have finally dropped their anti-choice language. Now, that's it. If they win, they're still probably going to do something to appease these voters, right? But right now, their main focus is to stay in power and help their donors. That's it. For most of the politicians, as I said, it's always about staying in power and appeasing the donors who pay for their campaigns and give them nice, cushy jobs after they're out of office. But for the activists, it was always about taking away bodily autonomy, which, again, proves to be very unpopular with the electorate and causes them to lose. So Republicans, there's this schism in the party around the issue of reproductive rights. And while it's not going to change any votes, that schism is not going to go away on its own. And at some point, the party is going to have to continue to reckon with, oh, do we lose these core voters in the evangelical community by trying to appeal to more people and actually win elections? Or are we going to allow ourselves to be consigned to oblivion in order to appease this small group of diehards? And I think the answer right now seems to be no, they're going to try to do electoral wins. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.